first of all, this video is going to be for coaches, consultants, people that are info people, operators, creators, people that have coaching programs, masterminds, anything where you're selling info, because there is a large market of many of you who are stuck in a position and or don't necessarily know how to scale without dipping into your savings or the cash flow that you have for the business, or just burning yourself out completely by trying to create content and going viral. So I'm going to give you some ideas and some things to think about that will allow you to scale your business past 5K, 10K, 20K, 30K, 50K, and show you can do it. Now let's talk about this. Rather than accessing your savings or your cash flow for the business, there's an opportunity right now, and there always has been, but most people don't talk about it, where you can access 0% business credit cards under your business, which is separate from personal credit. Let's talk about it. Now, let me talk about this initially, right? When you're growing an info business or you are a creator, it typically requires cash up front unless you are just running the content flywheel. And as I know, creating content actually takes a lot of work. A lot of people don't consider how much work creating content does or how much effort it actually takes to create content that you want to do. Now, some people can push out tons of content where other people can't. Now, when you're growing an info business, when you're growing a creator business, typically, if you want to run ads, they need budget for them to convert. They need money, and then you're dipping into your cash flow. Or if you're a creator that's stuck, under 20, 25K, you're doing everything yourself because you're scared to hire on people or outsource things or have someone create things that are different from what you did before. But one of the best things that you can do is actually save your time and save your money by outsourcing and hiring things. So content needs editors, needs production, needs clipping, sales teams. If you start building out your sales team to scale, it either needs DM setters, closers, other systems. And instead of doing it yourself and taking all that money that you have now, you can actually access capital. Now, the first thing, most people try to cash flow their way to $20,000 months, $30,000 months. This is typically what makes them feel rewarded, feel successful about their business. But a lot of people in the space are outsourcing, hiring, and putting money towards all of these things, whether it be content, sales teams, or ads. And they're smart because they're utilizing 0% business credit cards to create that instant momentum. I'm going to talk a little bit about these things. Now, first of all, the good thing about business credit is it's 0% intro APRs from 12 to 18 months. This is pretty much free money if you're putting it in a system that is going to produce you results. These cards are completely separate from your personal credit. It has no impact on your personal utilization, which means it's not going to affect your ability to get a car, a mortgage. They don't show up. It's like having a silent investor who charges you $0. You typically only need to pay 1 to 2% minimum payments per month, which gives you 12 months to 18 months of leeway, which is why you want to put it towards content or advertising or hiring outside of what you're currently doing. So it gives you 50K to 100K to 150K, dependent on what your credit looks like. So 50K in credit gives you a runway to double down without sacrificing your lifestyle or operating off the scraps of your cash flow. Now, first of all, what is one thing that most people don't even think about when it comes to accessing business credit? Just because you have a business doesn't mean that you have the ability to get a lot of money. If you do these things on your own, by yourself, without understanding the nuance of the banks in the financial market, the problem is you're going to end up getting low limits or getting completely denied. And by low limits, I mean, you could apply to the same 5 cards that me and my team apply for, and we'll get 100K and you'll end up getting 15K or 10K. Would you rather have 100K or would you rather have 15 or 10K? I'm sure most people would rather have 6 figures. Misunderstanding is that accessing capital, most people think that just because they have an LLC, they're able to access more capital. Just because you have a business, you're able to somehow get the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 limits that other people get. Well, that is not the case because your personal credit is your resume. This is why I talk about this all the time of building up your personal credit. If you are in a situation where your personal credit isn't built up, you need to spend 6 months to build up your personal credit. And what do I mean by that? You need to have higher personal limits because even though you have a business, they're still pulling your personal credit. And they want to see that you can handle large amounts of capital on the personal side with on-time payment history, with no negatives, having good personal credit. They see you have 50K on the personal side. They're willing to give you close to that. They're willing to give you 20, 30K on a card. But if you have a credit card that's 2K, 3K, 4K, and don't have any other higher limits over 8K or 10K, They go, why would we give you $25,000 from this one bank, right? Because you haven't shown them that you have the ability to be trusted. And all the bank really cares about is getting their money back, right? So you want to have higher personal limits, no collections, no charge-offs, no late payments, 100% payment history. And of course, having higher limits allows you to have low utilization. The two biggest issues with your personal credit score is missed payments and high utilization, which means you're utilizing a large amount of your personal credit, which is if you only have 5K and you utilize 4K, your score is always going to drop. Anything over 30% utilization is going to drop. So of course, credit age helps. Having good banking relationships, setting yourself up with the right credit cards, with the right banks is going to help, because once you're there for 3 to 6 months, they know you. They know you as a lender. They know you better, and they're willing to give you more money because they understand you as an individual with their bank. Now, the great thing about business credit, doesn't report to personal credit. We talked about that. So having balances on there allows you to still get financing, personal loans, car loans, mortgages, personal financing without it affecting, because it's completely under a separate entity as well. Minimum is typically 1 to 2% of the total amount. So you spend 20K, you only have to pay $200 a month for that 0% period, which is really awesome. So quick little insight on me. This is what I've been able to help hundreds of people do, is improve their personal credit profile, get access to high limit credit cards at 0% on their business, and be able to help them scale and grow their business. Now, there's multiple ways that you can utilize this, whether you're a beginner just getting started in a business, whether you're intermediate in the process of making 5K to 20K a month, or you've already built and you're just looking for more access to scale. So it works for every type of business. And of course, there's tons of rewards, which I've talked about on this channel when it comes to utilizing the right credit cards with the right banks. So this is what I'm going to talk about a little bit more fully. How can you start doing this? How can you grow your business a little bit further? So when it comes down to using 0% capital, you want to spend on revenue generating activities, right? Advertising, content, sales teams, ways to bring in more leads to your business, because you want to spend the money to bring in more money on your business. This is how you go from 10K a month to 50K a month. What marketing channel you decide to do is also important. It also depends on your business and what you prefer. So right now, I just saw this tweet literally today, decided to add it. This is Joseph Henry from WAP. Hot take: not running ads is actually more expensive than running them. The cost of unpredictability and feast and famine cycles is brutal. So spent 3K on ads last month, made back 17K. Your business deserves a consistent pipeline that isn't dependent on virality. So a lot of people will churn themselves when it comes to content, especially if you're a creator or info business, and they hope that something goes viral. Honestly, though, typically virality doesn't really bring you leads into your business. It's like a falsehood. It makes you feel like it is, but usually they're not the best leads. You want to be targeted and niche with that. WAP is also doing tons of stuff with content rewards. So a lot of people are also spending money on clippers to clip their content. So if you're already creating content, you could either run ads and actually get an ROI, spend $1, get $2, $3 back. Then you pay back that 0% capital. You're growing your business. You're growing your pipeline. You're getting more testimonials with your clients and customers. Or you can also go the route of clipping. You are putting content on your page, and there's only so much people that it can reach. A lot of people are using clippers because they're posting content on separate channels, which is reaching separate audiences, which is bringing you more exposure to your business and to your offer. So this is always typically better, right? Because you're able to put the money in advertising places that is going to bring money back. Every dollar borrowed should be tied to an earned dollar. That's why we want to put it in the best places. You can also spend the money on better content wheels or better like cameras, phones, things that will create higher quality content for you, right? You know you have 0% for 12 months to 18 months, depending on the bank. So it gives you a runway to understand whether these ads or your targeting is correct and bringing in more money for you. And you don't want to waste your time on shiny objects, on other business models, not really expensive decks and fancy logos. You just don't want to spend the money in places that isn't going to bring you, right, revenue generating activities. So make sure that as well, you can use this money to someone that you have been following for 3 to 6 months for more coaching and more mentorship as well, that can help you either scale with systems or operations or hire someone into the team, because that is what's really great about 0% capital, not just marketing, but being able to hire people to show you a direction that you can go that will scale and grow your business. And that way you can get answers quickly and effectively, and you save your time. You don't waste 8 months, 10 months, a year and a half trying to do it all on your own. It works better than saving up, because it can take months, if not years, to save up to then position yourself to invest in something. This is not true depending on the bank. There is, certain no credit pulls like American Express. If you have a relationship with American Express, they won't pull on certain business lines of credit or business credit cards. It allows you to obviously build up your business credit profile, and by doing so, paying things off and making money back, you're then building up your business credit so you can go back to other banks, and you can go back to these banks and get more money in the future when you have higher opportunities to scale. So what are the ways that you can actually utilize this money, right? Obviously, marketing and paid ads, Meta, TikTok, YouTube, attracting qualified leads, content production. Like I said, hiring content clippers is really great right now. Do you want to stop editing, which takes a ton of time for, I know, a lot of creators and info operators and people that have coaching businesses? Hire video editors so you can save your time and focus on the revenue generating activities and or training and bringing in more skilled professionals in your business so that you can focus on your clients and your testimonials, right? The content production creates a more omnipresent brand. You're in front of more faces, and eventually that brings you more leads into your business. Update your tech and software, become more organized with your CRM, create more funnels, create better email campaigns so that those people that are going into a free community or going into your email list, you can then nurture them, who can eventually become a client in 1-2 weeks or a couple of months. Obviously, hiring a team. Maybe you do have a free community and you're not really utilizing it as much. Hire a VA to then message those people, see where they're at, see if they actually qualified. People are missing out on back-end high ticket offers with their free communities and the people that are in their groups because they're not actually reaching out to them. You can hire a VA to do that. You can train them, or hire a VA agency who will train them for you. And then you'll be able to get an additional 1 to 5 deals, high ticket deals, just because you're now nurturing a current community that you already have that you haven't done before, right? Because I know a lot of people want to spend all the time themselves and do everything themselves, but it can be a lot of work and you forget about these things. So that is ways that you can use it. Why does this matter? First of all, you're able to access more funding in the future, and now you don't have to dip into your savings. You can scale your business the right way without burning out. And then you're also separating your finances when it comes to tax season. When you're putting this information or you're putting these purchases on business credit cards, you are separating them. The biggest issue that people get audited is because they actually spend more money for their business on their personal cards, and then they can't prove what is a business expense and what's a personal expense. So you're separating your finances, making it easier during tax season. If you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, a creator, someone who's actually interested in accessing capital, first of all, like I said, there are some requirements that are really important. Of course, having personal credit limits, but of course, if you need to build up your personal credit profile, you can reach out to me and I can show you the banks and the credit cards that are best to create a relationship with and to get higher credit limits and build that foundation. So in 6 months, 9 months, you are ready to get funding for 50 to 150K. And this is just first round. You can go for multiple rounds within year 2 and year 3. We're able to access more because you've built more relationships. If this is something you're interested in, you would rather have someone help you and guide you in the right direction, my links are down below to reach out to me. But of course, right, requirements, if you have a 720 plus credit score right now, because of the economy, because of the way interest rates are, banks are a little bit tighter. They're looking for a specific profile of people. Of course, we have data points. I have data points from customers that I have worked with and communities that I'm involved directly on how to get you high limit credit cards and access to these lines of credit, of course, because it takes a lot of information to understand this. This is why people do it on their own and they get denied, or they get 10 to 15K on credit cards instead of 50, 100, 150K. You don't want to have negatives. If you have negatives, collections, a ton of inquiries, more than 3 inquiries on the bureaus, you want to get them removed as well. You want to get that stuff removed before going to funding. You want to ask for credit limit increases. But like I said, you want to have at least 5 to 10K in personal credit limits. One card that's like 8 to 10K plus, if more, even better, because you're showing comparable credit. 2 years of personal credit history. There's ways to increase that. And of course, utilization under 20%, preferably under 10%. Now, you can do it with brand new LLCs or sole proprietorships as well, but it's recommended to have a little bit of age on that. It just depends. There's certain requirements that get you higher limit funding, that get you higher cards, depending on relationships. But either way, if you're a creator, you're a business owner, and you want the guidance on how to do this so you can actually scale your business and kind of get out of that middle ground rut, understand how to do it with the bank's money, who will lend you lots of money if you have the right requirements, reach out to me and have a conversation to see if it'll be a good fit. Hopefully you got value. Hopefully you understand that there's other ways that you can grow your business without burning out. And if you didn't know about this as well, now you do, because if you are from the United States and you have a social security number, this is one of the greatest ways to build and grow a business. This has created more millionaires out of thin air, being able to access the bank's capital with this information. Wish you guys the best. Thank you guys for showing up on the video. Drop some comments down below if you want more value in terms of how your specific business, how you can utilize credit, how you can do crazy travel experiences like I have, $8,000, $10,000 trips for literally pennies because of the rewards that business credit cards and credit cards in general provide you. Drop them down below. I have tons of videos talking about it. Either way, like I said, hit subscribe, hit like, drop your comments, and I will talk to you guys soon. Reach out to me down below with my links if you want to have a conversation. Appreciate it. Peace.